The Academy Awards are this Sunday, and if any of the members of the Academy are watching, I implore you to not vote for Mickey Rourke for Best Actor. Because if you do, it could spark a chain reaction that has terrible consequences on this business. You see, if Rourke wins, that could send a message to all of the Hall of Famers, all of the legends, all of the washed up, has-been losers who are holding on, leeching off this business, begging for one last run at success. But I'm here to say that's not gonna happen. They're very delusional about this, but the truth is, it won't happen, and the only one with enough courage to tell them so is me. But I know why all of you respect the legends so, why you cheer for them, why you encourage them, why you enable them. It's because they're all just like you. Weak, shallow, insecure human beings, hypocrites and liars who need to be shut down and shut up for their own good. And you can boo me if you want, but you're booing an honest man. A man who tells the truth. Yeah, you don't like that, do you? But the truth hurts. And I will continue to tell the truth.
Hey! It is! Talk about legends. It is really Roddy Piper! WWE Hall of Famer. Rod! A standing ovation for Roddy Piper. Roddy Piper here on Raw to confront Jericho. This is great. Look at the look on Jericho's face. You know what? I hope that somewhere Mickey Rourke is watching this.
You want the truth? I'm gonna shoot with you on this one. Let me tell you something, man. You know, I have watched you your entire career, and I liked you. I tell you why. You said what was on your mind, and then you had the guts to come in the ring and back it up. I respected that. Reminded me of somebody I know. What happened? Now you get on television and you're running your mouth. You're calling me out. You're calling Flair out. You're calling the other legends out. You used to be entertaining. What happened? You're judging us. You patronize us. You tell us what we should be and should not be doing. Let me take one of your quotes. Please shut the hell up.
Sure, Piper. Dance like a puppet on the string. Make all of these fans cheer for you.
I'm not finished yet! Mickey Rourke is my friend. And I watched his movie, The Wrestler. And yes, I cried. The movie is not about a bunch of old timers that want another run. The movie is about the honor and respect we have for everyone. The movie is about the pain, physically and emotionally. And most of all, most important, why we do what we do? For the thrill of performing. Ric Flair was right. We live for this. I have people that come up to me and they say to me, "Hey, Roddy, we remember when you slapped Mr. T." And I have people come up to me and say, "When my granddad was alive, we watched you shave Adrian Adonis's head." And Chris, you want to bury these moments. No, these moments are to be celebrated. These moments, last year, I was in the Royal Rumble, and when I came out in Madison Square Garden, 24,000 people jumped to their feet, and just for 1 second, Chris, I felt like I was back in the first WrestleMania. That was the thrill of a lifetime for me. I have one hip and I hurt all the time. But as long as these folks here say so, I will crawl down here on my hands and knees to give them one more memorable moment, because old school's cool.
What is Jericho doing?
Crawl around!
What a jerk!
You want to crawl around here, Piper? You can crawl for him! Dance like a puppet on a string! You want
What a
respect?
complete lowlife.
You want respect? Crawl! Crawl! You crawl for him! You just crawl! You crawl! You crawl! Crawl all around, Piper! You want to crawl? Crawl!
This may be the worst thing I have ever seen anyone do in all the years I've been here on Raw. What a complete... I can't even say what I'm thinking of Jericho right now. What a complete jerk. Get up, Roddy.
You know, Steamboat, I also want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to the Academy of Arts and Motion Picture Sciences, because last night's Academy Awards proved me right. Despite all of his shameless pandering and his kissing of all the butts in Hollywood, Mickey Rourke lost the Oscar. And now he's just like the character he portrayed in The Wrestler. He's a loser. A washed-up has-been who's hanging on for one last shot of glory, one last go in the spotlight, deluding himself into thinking he has one chance to make it again. He doesn't, and he reminds me a lot of the losers in this business: Ric Flair, Roddy Piper, and even you, Steamboat, because you're a loser. Oh yeah, you see, I'm a man of truth, Steamboat. I tell it like it is, and I'm gonna tell you the same thing. When you were wrestling all those classic matches with Ric Flair and the NWA, an organization that, according to this company, never even existed, you were just Ricky Steamboat. And it wasn't until you came to the WWE and sold your soul to all of these parasites that you became the Dragon. A glorified karate kid selling headbands and making poses, feeding into stereotypes. And then you eventually came to the ring with a Komodo dragon literally spitting fire like the circus freak you'd become. It was pathetic, but hey, it's all right as long as you're making a paycheck, right, Steamboat? Huh? And then when you decided to retire, you ended up just like all the rest, down and out on your luck, broken, beat down, dysfunctional family, and you know you would have returned to the ring just like Flair and just like Piper. You know you wouldn't have done it, but instead you took a backdoor route. You applied for a job in the WWE, you got one working backstage, and now here you are. See, Steamboat, you are a lifelong sellout. And now with the Hall of Fame induction, the loyal dog gets his bone. Just like Flair, just like Piper, except instead of wearing a three-piece suit like those guys, or wearing a sequin robe or a kilt, you have your nice suit on. Doesn't make you any less pathetic. So enjoy your moment with all of these hypocrites that are your fans, Steamboat. Enjoy it, because you're the biggest hypocrite of them all.
Jericho. Do you know what a hypocrite is? Do you understand that word, that meaning? You know, I remember about 20 years ago at an autograph session, I remember signing an autograph for you. I also remember how you said that you had admired me and that I was your hero. You wrote that in your autobiography, Jericho. And then about 10 years ago, when you came to the WWE, you were this snotty brat wrestler of a kid that turned down the wrestling fans. And then within a year, less than a year, you embraced them. What did you call them? Jericho-holics? Then you spent the next several years turning on them, embracing them, turning on them, embracing them, back and forth, so on and so off. You know something, Jericho? That's a hypocrite. Myself, from the very first time I put on my wrestling tights to the day that I retired, I didn't change, not once. I gave this audience the respect and entertained them every time I came through that curtain. I never changed. Not once. Now myself, Ric Flair, Roddy Piper, and the other legends, we know who we are. And me coming back to work for the WWE behind the scenes, to help our young talent, our future superstars, to teach them, to coach them, to pass the torch, so to speak. That's not a sellout. I did it because I love this business. I don't care what you think of me. It really doesn't matter. I'm not a hypocrite. I'm not a sellout. But I am someone you may never be. A Hall of Famer.
Hey! Oh, come on!
Hall of Famer? Hall of Fame of what? Huh? Hall of Fame of what? You're a has-been just like the rest. Just like the rest. Huh, Steamboat? Huh? You're just another sellout. Yeah, stay down. Stay down. Stay down. Stay down to the ground where you belong. Stay down to the ground where you belong, Steamboat.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, one of the greatest nights of the year is the night before WrestleMania, the WWE Hall of Fame ceremony. I can tell you, from experience, it's a night you never forget.
I mean, you would know better than anyone. When you were inducted, it had to be awesome for you.
And our next inductee is a very special man, very special to me personally. Let's take a look.
Ladies and gentlemen,
From Hawaii,
One of the first superstars to combine technical skills with astounding aerial agility, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat was a true live wire between the ropes.
the Dragon will fly here.
In a career that spanned 3 decades, Steamboat would integrate an aptitude for martial arts with unparalleled wrestling expertise to become a decorated champion. In a match widely regarded as one of the greatest in history, the Dragon captured the Intercontinental Championship from Randy Savage in front of a record-breaking 93,173 fans at WrestleMania 3.
Small package by the Dragon. They got him. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, the new Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion.
The Dragon's finest hour came on February 20th, 1989, when Steamboat defeated the man with whom he had a rich and storied history, the Nature Boy Ric Flair, capturing the prestigious NWA World Heavyweight Championship.
It's hard for me to believe what I'm holding in my hands after all these years.
Steamboat's amazing accomplishments are equaled only by his popularity with crowds across the globe.
Ricky Steamboat, personally my favorite guy to ever get in the ring with because he was so good.
I can't say enough about Ricky Steamboat. He was off the hook. His level of performance was second to none. And to this day, just a humble, great guy.
Admired by his fans, esteemed by his peers, World Wrestling Entertainment is proud to welcome Ricky the Dragon Steamboat as a member of the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2009.
Without a doubt, one of the most skilled artisans to ever step on the canvas. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat going into the Hall of Fame, inducted by one of his great rivals, the Nature.
No, I wasn't planning on doing this today, but welcome to Piper's Pit. I've been berated for so long by all of you hypocrites for disrespecting the legends that tonight I went to great lengths to procure the original Piper's Pit set, bring it here to Raw, and now I'm going to host the show myself. Piper's Pit was a groundbreaking talk show that featured many classic moments and segments and episodes, but the most infamous was this one here.
More coconuts. You want to be a big shot. You want to go, wait a second. Bananas
and coconuts. You want to be a big shot. You know what? The only thing I didn't get a tree for you to climb up and down like a monkey, like you want to do. You want to be a big shot? I'll get you a tree next time. You want a banana? Have a banana. What do you want, man? You think? Am I making fun of you? Whoa, no, sir. No, sir. No, sir.
On that note, let me introduce my guest tonight. Please welcome Superfly Jimmy Snuka. Now that was some classic footage for sure that led to some classic matches between you and Piper. After that Piper's Pit, you guys tore it up all across the country. I want to show you some footage from some of those great matches you had right now.
Well, it was indeed one of the most storied rivalries of the 1980s. Began in the summer of 1984. Spurred on, of course, by what we saw in Piper's Pit King, but this was personal and bitter.
Well, Jimmy Superfly Snuka, you're right. I mean, he felt, and rightly so, that Roddy Piper was making fun of him, not just on that Piper's Pit, but for a long time. And boy, Superfly brought his A game when he faced Roddy Piper.
In fact, Snuka involved in the WrestleMania 1 match, which pitted Hogan and Mr. T against Piper and Orndorff. This classic Jimmy Snuka, the high flyer from the Fiji Islands.
Sweet memories, Jimmy, huh? You guys look pretty good back in those days. No. You wait your turn, okay? Like I said, that was some awesome footage, and there's not a more deserving Hall of Famer than you, but you're also a grim reminder as to what can happen, because you are the poster boy for what Mickey Rourke's movie, The Wrestler, is all about. Because in every sport, Hall of Famers are retired, but not you, Jimmy. You're in your mid-60s, and yet you still embarrass yourself every weekend by working independent wrestling shows in high school gyms all across New Jersey. No. No, you listen to me. And on top of that, you and Piper entered the Royal Rumble last year. How selfish of you. How dare you? Do you know how many deserving superstars weren't allowed to compete in the Rumble because of your selfishness, Snuka? They could have won the Rumble, went on to WrestleMania, and had their lives and their careers changed forever, but you wouldn't allow that to happen. You had to hear the roar of the crowd one last time, right? Whatever few functioning brain cells are left in that broken down body, that broken down cranium of yours, had to be in the spotlight and hear the roar of these hypocrites one last time. You see, that's the problem with all the Hall of Famers like you and Piper and Flair and Steamboat. You're all sick in the head. You're too occupied with your own egos to let it go. Just pack it in, Snuka. It's time. I brought you on this show tonight to show all of the superstars in the back what can happen to them if they're not careful. Because if they're not careful, they're gonna end up like you. A pathetic disgrace. You don't like that, huh, Jim? Does that make you angry? Well, you know what? You don't have the right to be angry anymore. I'm gonna say this slowly so that even you can understand. You are finished. Nobody cares about you anymore, Snuka. Nobody wants to see you anymore. So pack it in, go home, and stay home. Do you understand what I'm saying to you right now, huh?
I don't understand.
Okay, all right, you don't understand. Fine, you don't understand. It's obvious I'm not getting through to you. I'm not getting through to any of these parasites, any of the washed up Hall of Famers at home. That's fine. You want to live in the past? What did Piper say? Oh, old school is cool. Okay, let's go old school, Jimmy. Let's take it. I thought this was gonna happen, so I brought some stuff for you to remind you of your glory days right here. You want to be a big shot, Snuka? You want to feel like you're at home? Well, here's a pineapple, just for you. Right. You want to go glorious? You want some bananas, Snuka? There's a banana. Take some bananas right here, just like the old days, right? Come on, isn't this what you wanted? Right? All you hypocrites? Isn't this what you asked for? What did Piper say? He told me to embrace the past, not bury it, so let's embrace it. Let's give Jimmy Snuka what he wants, a return to his glory days. Yeah, what else do I got in here? I got one more thing in this bag for you, Snuka. Yeah, it's a coconut. You want to relive your past, Snuka, huh? Yeah? You want to relive your past, the old day? No. Well, hold on. Come on, don't just, Jimmy, don't disgrace yourself. Okay, no, wait, no, just hold on. Don't disgrace yourself. You've made your point. Just take it easy. You've made your point.
Super black.
Kingston, Chris Jericho wanting to join the other participants, CM Punk, Kane, MVP, Mark Henry, Shelton Benjamin.
Oh, Jericho, he blocked the kick. And now, the walls of Jericho locked in. Chris Jericho with Kingston in the middle of the ring. A submission maneuver. If Kingston taps out, Jericho's going to WrestleMania.
Kingston trying, reaching with everything. The only hope from Kingston is to try to get to that bottom row. Oh, look at Jericho moving Kingston back to the center of the ring and apply even more pressure.
And the whole man then. What? What's this? Nature Boy, Ric Flair. At the center of Jericho's tirade in his campaign against the legends.
Jericho absolutely steaming at the side.
And Kingston capitalized. Jericho never saw it coming. Kofi Kingston is going to WrestleMania.
And Jericho's out.
Kofi Kingston qualifies for Money in the Bank. And King Ric Flair has hit Chris Jericho where it hurts most. Ric Flair has cost Chris Jericho a trip to Houston on April 5th and the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania.
Well, not taking anything away from Kofi Kingston because that's a great victory no matter how you win it. You're going to WrestleMania, young man, but yeah, Ric Flair was the distraction. That's right.
Kofi Kingston is heading to WrestleMania.
And you're not.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, 6 men have now qualified. Here's the updated brackets. And we understand that tomorrow night on ECW, there'll be another qualifying match, a huge battle royal on Sci-Fi. And then Friday night on SmackDown, the final qualifying match for the Money in the Bank ladder match at WrestleMania. Chris Jericho is stunned.
Well, that's great. You know, winning that Money in the Bank match.
Chris, obviously, I'm sure you're pretty disappointed in the outcome of your match.
Disappointed? Ric Flair took away my WrestleMania moment, Grisham, because I would have won the Money in the Bank match and subsequently went on to reclaim my World Heavyweight Championship. But I want my WrestleMania moment next week. Flair, I dare you to come out of retirement and face me next week on Raw. I know you've been waiting for that invitation ever since WrestleMania last year, and here's your chance to relive your glory days. Come out of retirement, step into the spotlight for one more time, Flair. Bask in the cheers and the adulation of all these hypocrites and parasites one last time. So come back next week, Flair. Enjoy your moment. Blast. Bask. Enjoy yourself for one last time, because mark my words, just like Mickey Rourke's character's story in The Wrestler, the story of Ric Flair will end forever next week on Raw.
That's spring break in San Antonio, Texas. There is the gorgeous Riverwalk, the Alamo just up the road. We're live tonight for Monday Night Raw here at the AT&T Center. 15,619 WWE fans on hand.
A lot of those spring breakers right here with us tonight at Raw, and earlier tonight we had another special arrival. Oh yes! The Nature Boy, the one and only Ric Flair. Still styling, still profiling, but will he be wrestling here tonight?
That's the question. Will Ric Flair come out of retirement for one night only to take on the challenge of Chris?
Thanks to Ric Flair's interference in my business last week, I'm not going to WrestleMania. Flair stole my chance at immortality, and now I'm left with absolutely nothing. But that's why I took matters into my own hands, and I challenged Flair to come out of retirement to face me right here, right now. For me, tonight is gonna be my WrestleMania. Let's be honest, Flair. It's pathetically obvious that you can't stay on the sidelines. You've been waiting to bask in the spotlight one more time. You've been waiting to come out of retirement for a year, and tonight I'm giving you that chance. You've been claiming for years that to be the man, you've got to beat the man, but Flair, you're not a man. You're a coward. You're a joke. Flair, you're nothing more than a pathetic, washed-up has-been. But tonight, I'm giving you what you've been waiting for, Flair. What you've been waiting for 1 year. A chance to return to the spotlight. A chance to bask in your glory days one more time. A chance to enjoy the adulation of all these hypocrites one more time, Flair. So come on. Come on out here, Flair. This is the chance. You can have it all. This is the golden opportunity you've been waiting for since last year's WrestleMania, since your grandiose retirement ceremony, when you were presented that wonderful golden Rolex watch. Flair, this is your chance. Take it. Take it, Flair. I'm giving you the chance. Come out here. Take your chance now. Come on, Flair. This is your shot at glory.
All right.
Chris, even though I know I can beat you, I am officially retired as an active competitor. But make no mistake, I will always be the man. However, I will not tarnish that great retirement and send-off given me by the whole world a year ago. I won't let my peers and all the people down that made that night the greatest night of my career. I can't wrestle you, Jericho, but I have found some men that can.
The Superfly, Jimmy Snuka, the man who Jericho said, no one cares about you. Inducted into the Hall of Fame this year, Jericho called him a hypocrite, a glorified Karate Kid. Oh!
It is! Roddy Piper!
And if I recall, Jericho called Piper a weak, a shallow, insecure human being. Oh, and the Hall of Famers are heading to the ring.
Oh, Flair said he'd found some men that would wrestle Chris Jericho. He's going to have a match after all.
Time for Jericho to
Ric Flair on one side, Jimmy Superfly Snuka on one side, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and Roddy Piper with his back. Look at Roddy's the back of his shirt. It said "Old School's Cool."
Jericho's cornered.
Oh wait, look at this. The Hall of Famers, the legends. Jericho doesn't have anywhere to turn. What are you going to do now, Jericho? Come on, big mouth.
Jericho's trying to run.
He's tackled by Steamboat.
Jericho got to crawl away for dear life. A right hand by the Nature Boy. Imagine how Jericho's feeling. Jericho wanted to have his WrestleMania moment tonight. Instead, he got humiliated.
Maybe he just did have his WrestleMania moment. You should always keep your words soft and sweet, because you may have to eat them. And Jericho just did.
Chris, real quick, based on what we just saw.
What we just saw proves my point completely, Grisham, that all of these legends are nothing more than desperate, shameless parasites who don't know when to give it up. This was supposed to be my WrestleMania tonight.
I'm sure you must be at least a little bit embarrassed because...
Embarrassed? Why would I be embarrassed, huh? I was attacked and assaulted unfairly by 4 men at once. Why would I be... You know what, Todd? You might be onto something here. Maybe it's time that I teach these legends a little something about embarrassment. I think I'm going to challenge Jimmy Snuka, Roddy Piper, and Ricky Steamboat to a match against me, Chris Jericho, at WrestleMania. I'm going to have my WrestleMania moment, Grisham. And as far as Ric Flair goes, Flair, you might want to stay in retirement, that's fine. You can be a coward for the rest of your life. But I demand that you show up at WrestleMania and be in the corner of all these legends, because I want you to know and feel that the pain I inflict upon these has-beens is going to be on your hands, Flair. Oh, yeah. And I almost forgot about the man who started this all, Mickey Rourke. Rourke, you say you're going to be at Mania? Hell, I'm gonna buy you a front row seat because I want you to see up close and personal what's gonna happen to all your friends. And unlike your movie, The Wrestler, the ending of this match is not gonna be ambiguous. It's gonna be tragic because I'm going to put Flair, Piper, Steamboat, Snuka, all of them out of their misery once and for all. I was merely a child when the first WrestleMania took place. But I remember watching Jimmy Snuka, Ricky Steamboat, and Roddy Piper excite and enthrall the fans. I remember watching them when they were larger than life and in their prime. But that was 25 years ago. And 25 years ago, I never dreamed that one day I'd become a bigger star than all three of them. But I have. And Flair, you came out and cavalierly stated that the legends have accepted my challenge for a match at WrestleMania. Let me explain to you exactly what it is that you're signing up for. Flair, do you and the rest of the legends think that this situation is some kind of a movie like The Wrestler? Do you think last week when you beat me down unfairly 4-on-1 that it was the final scene, victorious, leading to the crowd cheering and the credits rolling at the end? No, you're wrong. It wasn't a movie. This is real, Flair. And you're not an actor like Mickey Rourke. You see, Mickey Rourke has the luxury of having a director yell, "Cut." Mickey Rourke can take a break while he's filming and go back to his trailer, sip on a cappuccino and wonder how he blew the Oscars. You don't have that luxury, Flair. This is real. And Rourke's movie gave you a false impression. It gave you the impression that you still matter, but you don't. Nobody cares about you anymore, Ric Flair. And right now, I'm gonna show you just how dire your predicament has become.
You see, Flair, I knew all along. I knew all along that the legends would accept my challenge. It was academic. Because all the legends, and most importantly you, Flair, are afraid. You're afraid that if you stay out of the spotlight for too long, that you'll be forgotten, washed up. You're afraid that you'll end up as an inconsequential, nameless, faceless nobody, just like all of these hypocrites in the arena tonight. But it's better to be a nobody, Flair, than to drag your name through the mud over and over again, soiling it forever. Flair, at WrestleMania, I'm gonna beat your friends. And it's gonna be a disgusting beatdown. It's gonna be a disturbing beatdown. It's gonna be an uncomfortable beatdown, Flair. And you're gonna be forced to stand at ringside powerless, with tears streaming down your face, screaming for me to stop. But I'm not gonna stop, Flair. I'm gonna keep going and going and going. And Mickey Rourke's gonna be sitting at ringside, watching with his own two eyes the carnage that he ultimately caused. And he's gonna be thinking, oh my God, what have I done? Flair, on April 5th, despite all of their Hall of Fame accomplishments, your friends, Piper, Snuka, and Steamboat, will be remembered by a whole new generation of people as the washed up has-beens who were brutalized, humiliated, and ultimately euthanized by Chris Jericho.
You're wrong, Jericho. What we refuse to do is to be judged by insignificant little punks that'll never be Hall of Fame material. We refuse to be told when it's over. We'll make that decision on our own. We love to be respected for the accomplishments that we've achieved during our careers. And we, in turn, respect the people that have respected us. And we respect their accomplishments. What you don't understand is that I'll be so proud to stand by my Hall of Fame brothers, my peers, and most of all, my friends, as they beat you.
Are you finished, Flair?
No, I'm not. As a matter of fact, since we can talk a little more freely now, and I think I've got your ear, I'll tell you what I'm really looking forward to. I'm really looking forward to the Nature Boy standing in the middle of the ring at WrestleMania, finding Mickey Rourke in the crowd and saying, Mickey, come on in the ring, stand alongside the Nate, stand alongside the Hot Rod, the Superfly, and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and look at this broken body. That would be you. And then, in front of 70,000 screaming people in Houston, and millions around the world that are watching WrestleMania go! Woo!
Oh! Oh, come on! Jericho, this man's a Hall of Famer! Stop this! Stop! Come on! this is awful. Jericho's ripped Flair's clothes off, throwing his shoes close into the audience. So demeaning. Stop! It's enough! Hey! What the? Jericho! Don't do it!
Shades of what Jericho did last week. Here comes Jericho. King on his belly. Walls of Jericho locked in. King has no choice but to tap out. Tonight, Chris Jericho defeated the legendary Jerry the King Lawler. Sunday at WrestleMania, he looks to take out Snuka, Steamboat, and Piper with Ric Flair in their corner. But remember, Jericho must beat all three of those legends individually on Sunday. Jericho claims he'll allow those legends to, quote, bask in the cheers for one final time. And King shuts up Jericho for now.
You want me back in that ring, Lawler, huh? Forget it. I already beat you. I already beat you, Lawler. And when it comes to Snuka and Steamboat and Piper at WrestleMania, it's not a question about how I'm gonna beat them. It's how badly I'm gonna beat them. Am I gonna pin them? Will I make them tap out like I just did with Lawler? Or will I annihilate them like I did to Ric Flair last week? You see, at WrestleMania, I know I'm gonna be called heartless and disrespectful by all of you parasites. But I want to remind you, I did not start this. This was started by Mickey Rourke making a challenge that he refused to back up on the red carpet. And now, due to one Mickey Rourke's night of false bravado, his three friends are ultimately going to see their demise. Piper, Steamboat, Snuka, at WrestleMania, I will beat you. I will embarrass you, and I will eliminate and eradicate you from this business forever. After WrestleMania, only one name will be synonymous with the word legend, and that is the name of Chris Jericho.
Bold words for Chris Jericho as he heads toward WrestleMania. But for John Cena,